Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you the performance review of the LeBron Next Gens. So the LeBron Next Gens was released in February 3rd of 2023. In US dollars, it was retailed at 160 US dollars, and here in Canada, it was retailed at 210 Canadian dollars. It's a $50 price difference between the LeBron Next Gen and the LeBron 20s. So this colorway that I have here is called the Wolf Gray colorway. This colorway came out a couple of weeks ago, and this shoe was actually debuted in the I Promise colorway in the mismatch shoe. There's also this white one that recently just came out, and I think that one looks really clean too. Overall, what do you guys think of the aesthetics of this shoe? Personally, I think it's not bad. Also, not as good as the LeBron 20s, just in my personal opinion. Just let me know what you think of this shoe. I think overall the silhouette is pretty clean. Since LeBron recently just came back from the injury, he's actually been wearing the Next Gens a lot more than the LeBron 20s. On the other hand, Anthony Davis, who's on the same team, he wears the LeBron 20s like the whole season basically. And it feels like LeBron might like these more than the LeBron 20s. And it's kind of interesting how LeBron always chooses to wear the cheaper model in his shoe line. Is that indicative of how the performance of these stacks up against the LeBron 20s? I don't know, we'll have to see. So to give a brief overview of the materials used in this shoe. Upper material is majorly a open mesh, and it's just TPU and plastic threads. There's also some synthetic overlays at the toe area and then also in the back. But in the internal side of the shoe, there's this really cheap synthetic felt material that I'm not really personally a big fan of. I think it serves a functional purpose of hosting your shoe, making sure that you don't step out on the internal side. The Next Gens also feature a half booty construction, as most of the basketball shoes these days. I think it's a really nice touch. It just provides a better hugging feeling of the feet and provides you better lockdown. It also features a Nike Sphere technology in the back, the heel padding area of the shoe. It's the same technology used in the LeBron 20s. However, though, I do find Nike Sphere used here in the Next Gens a little bit thinner than the ones we found in the LeBron 20s. Overall, the shoe is super light. This gotta be one of the lightest LeBron shoe ever. I'm a big fan of that. I like basketball shoes that are light. It just makes you feel quicker and just more responsive in general. Find something that's really interesting about this shoe is that there's really a lack of design in terms of performance features on this shoe. It's really a very plain shoe. The lacing system, very traditional, nothing too crazy about it. Even by looking at the upper of the shoe, you don't see any TPU counters on the side or in the heel or anything for containment. So diving right into the performance review of this shoe. First of all, to start with the fit and lockdown. In terms of the fit, I went true to size and fits me perfectly. I do have narrower feet, but at the same time, my feet is a bit higher volume. So these fit me really well. The toe area, as you can see, is pretty narrow. So if you have a wide feet or if you have flatter feet, I would recommend going to the store, try them out. I think these shoes probably are available at all like Foot Locker, Champs locations, so shouldn't be too hard to find them. I say go try them out and then get your perfect size. But for any other foot type, even someone like me who has high volume foot, if you have narrower feet, I think this shoe would be perfect true to size. So if you get your perfect size in this shoe provides you great lockdown. I say like this shoe and the New Balance two-way V3s are the two most well-fitted basketball shoes that I've tested this year. There's no concern with heel slippage here as well, just because how high the lace loops go on this shoe. It really contained the ankle and your feet really well in this shoe. It really just felt like an extension of my feet. There's no lagginess in the containment. I never felt like I'm gonna step out of the shoe, and my feet wasn't moving around in this shoe at all, which is a great feeling. So next is the running performance in the LeBron Next Gens. In terms of running in this shoe, I would say like it's pretty good, but it's also not as great to the level of a Curry shoe. The reason that I say that is because this shoe does have a flatter bottom. So when you put your feet in the shoe, when you step forward, it doesn't really give you too much of a sensation of propelling you forward. That is not a problem with me because the overall heel to toe transition in this shoe is very, very smooth. A lot of that has to do with the rounded heel design. This heel cushion is actually relatively firm compared to the LeBron 20s, of course. There's just no energy wasted in your movement. Whichever way you want it to go, this shoe moves really well with you. And it's also a relatively good core feel shoe. In the forefoot, it features Zoom turbo unit, which is not as crazy as a Zoom strobo unit or even just a regular Zoom unit. Allows you to stay pretty close to the court while having that really nice bouncy sensation in the forefoot. So that definitely helps with running as well. It doesn't make me feel like, you know, my feet is sore after a little bit, or sometimes with the Zoom Super Strobo units, I feel like I have to put that extra force into the strobo unit, and then that way it allows me to bounce back. That's not the case here with the turbo unit. It's not as crazy and definitely helps with running. And this shoe does feature a midfoot shank plate about the same length as the one found in the LeBron 20s, say about this big here, this area here. This is a TPU shank plate, which is not as strong as a carbon fiber shank plate, and it's relatively a shorter one as well. So again, this shoe is nothing too crazy in terms of propelling you forward, part due to the fact that the shank is smaller and not as strong. But in general, I think this shoe is pretty great for running just because it doesn't bother me running in this shoe. Not like some basketball shoes that after I run in them full court play for a couple hours, I feel really sore. That's not the case here with the LeBron NXXT Gens. I played in the shoe 3-4 hours in a row, and even towards the end of my play, I never felt sore or tired in my footing. Next, we're gonna jump into the lateral movement performance in this shoe. So in terms of lateral movement, the most important part obviously is the traction. The traction pattern here in the LeBron NXXT Gen is interesting because it's a map of air currents, so it's kind of like a storytelling piece. However, I don't know how Nike managed to make this shoe into a storytelling traction pattern while performing so great at the same time. I really have no complaints about this traction. Even with this translucent rubber, I never felt like unsafe playing in these. I never slipped once. I never felt like I needed to swipe constantly. Although there is, you know, some potential of building up dust just because of how narrow or how small these knobs are throughout the shoe. But whenever you feel like it's too much dust attracted on the shoe, just give it 1-2 quick swipes. You should be good to go for another extended period of time. So really no complaints about the traction performance in this shoe. It's just great. In terms of lateral containment, like I previously mentioned, by just looking at the silhouette of the shoe, you don't see any specific designs or reinforcements on the upper that helps with lateral containment. Although this foam does come up to cage the lateral side a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy, right? It gets the job done. And I never felt like unsafe in these. Even with the lack of design on the lateral side, I think this shoe gives you pretty good lateral containment because of the fit. Because of how great this shoe really fitted my feet, it really was in sync with every movement that I was making. So that's why I never felt like I'm gonna step out of the shoe. So I'm gonna say lateral containment overall is pretty good. Lateral stability, I would say, is not a concern. However, this base of the shoe, so you can see it's not super wide, nothing too crazy, right? However, I think it gets the job done. I didn't really feel like I'm gonna turn my ankle playing in this shoe. There is a tiny bit of an outrigger. The foam coming protrudes out on the lateral side a little bit. But if you are an ankle sprainer and you have ankle injury concerns, I would say just watch it on that. I don't think it's gonna be a huge issue, but for me, it worked out really well. And the torsional support in this shoe, again, no issue whatsoever. You're gonna be covered. It's really, really hard to bend this shoe, and you know, with regular play, I don't see anyone having an issue with this. Next is the performance in jumping in this shoe. Again, this shoe features heel cushion is a Zoom unit, and the forefoot is a Zoom turbo unit. Foam, although Nike didn't specifically say what foam they're using for this, I did hear a lot of people say that it's Phylon, and to me this does feel quite like Phylon because it is a bit on the firmer side of things, which is a lot different from the LeBron 20s. Just by looking at this cushioning setup, I would say this is the perfect cushioning setup for me as someone that's on the heavier side of things and I put a lot of torque in my shoe. The heel feels super nice. With the Zoom unit, you can definitely feel the nice compression in the heel and that nice feeling of bouncy back from the Zoom unit. I do enjoy the fact that this foam caging is on the harder or on the firmer side of things, just because of how soft the Zoom units are. And if you substitute this with a softer foam, it might just be too mushy in terms of feeling when you're jumping. The forefoot features, again, the Zoom turbo unit. From the older Kyrie models where they used the Zoom turbo unit a lot, I wasn't really a big fan of that. To me, the Zoom turbo unit always felt like that wasn't enough cushioning just because of how thin it is and how articulated it is. Sometimes it feels kind of dead, but that is not the case here in the LeBron Next Gen. Zoom turbo unit that they use in this shoe, maybe they increase the PSI in the Zoom unit. It actually feels really, really bouncy in the forefoot. That's always a plus for me. I enjoy bouncy cushioning. I enjoy cushioning that gives me a lot of compression that I can actually feel it. It's just more fun to me to play in it that way. That's why I say this cushioning setup is perfect for me, because at the same time, it guarantees me really great impact protection while not feeling too laggy and just the right amount of everything. So that takes us to the conclusion of today's video. Would I recommend the LeBron X Gens to you guys? Heck yes, right? This shoe, I would say, is one of my favorite basketball shoes to play in right now. Just in terms of the performance, I absolutely love playing in this shoe. It allows me to play with all the confidence in the world. And whenever I feel like I need to go hard in the game, this is the shoe that I'm grabbing for sure. As for playing styles, I would recommend this shoe to anyone from point guards to centers even, just because of how balanced out this cushioning setup is and how great this lockdown and one-to-one fit this shoe provides you. A great option for anyone, and I would even recommend you guys to wait out a little bit, because I do feel like Nike has a lot of these shoes in stock, and when it comes to holiday season, this shoe is going to be on sale for sure. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.